Here's my main problem, and then we're going to talk about the nerfs more specifically. My main problem is it's good developer etiquette, I think, and company etiquette and policy, and it shows respect for your player base, that when you nerf something or make a negative change of some type, that you include with it your reasoning and explanation why you're doing it. So if you're going to do this first thing that they have in this preview right now, if you're going to do this, you need to tell us and show us why, or you need to explain to us why. And if you're really going to go the extra mile of like showing that you have some, like, you really care about your community, you're also going to like have a little bit of discussion somewhere about it too. Okay. So the nerf that's in this preview right here, and that's not why I'm logging into it, but because we don't need to see it, we can just explain it. Is zombie villagers will no longer spawn from zombie spawners. Zombie villagers will no longer spawn from zombie spawners. Okay. Why does this matter? Well, we were using zombie villagers from zombie spawners for a number of things. It was an alternate way to get villagers to cure, or zombie villagers to cure and make into villagers. It's kind of nice, right? Just a different way of doing something. It gives you, the player, a little bit of like agency in deciding how you want to play the game. You don't want to wait for random chance zombie villagers to spawn, or you don't want to go get villagers, or for some reason you don't want to breed them and then like change them into zombies and then change them out of zombies. You just want to convert them. Okay, so it's a choice that players had. It didn't like it didn't do something that wasn't possible in a number of other ways. And I would argue it's not necessarily a whole lot easier to do, maybe a little bit, but you still had to like separate the zombie villagers from the zombies, and you know, it's basically the same method of gameplay, right? So it didn't make things easier or harder. It didn't really do anything. It just gave people a different option. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that when a zombie villager spawned from a zombie spawner, the game would consider it as a or / towards the group discounts that you would get when you change zombie villager, or when you, which way does it go? When you change a villager into a zombie villager, no. When you cure is, which way is it? I think it's when a villager changes. I can't remember which way it is. Somebody can answer it for me. When a villager changes it to a zombie villager, or vice versa, one of the two, is when the discount occurs. I think it's when a zombie villager changes into a villager, you would get a discount to all villagers in a certain radius. Is that what it is? When you convert from zombie villager to villager. Okay, so there's two aspects to the whole thing. That would happen. What would happen is the zombie villager would spawn, and then we would get the group discount from the spawning. So there's like two sides of this. So maybe like I think I'm going to find it's the approach as I like explore like my train of thought here with you guys. I think I'm going to find it's their approach that rubs me more wrong than the actual changes that they made. So thought villager to zombie villager, because when I used the spawner, I never cured them, but got the discount anyways. So yes. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Here's the problem, right? Is they make this type of change. They don't say anything about it. They don't say why they did it. They don't tell us that like why they're doing these things, and like they don't have a discussion around them. And I think if it was like a one-off, like, hey, this is like the first bad parity change they've made, we would probably just like not really even care that much about it. It would just be a little bump in the road, but it's like a trend that's occurring, and I think that's why it's becoming a ever larger like issue, right? So we lose these two capabilities, the zombie villagers spawning, giving us a discount, and then the zombie villager spawning, giving us a different method of getting zombie villagers and converting them into villagers. So like we have these two different things that have changed that we've now lost. Now, to me, if their process would have been, hey, here's like, we're making this change and we're changing this to be in parity with Java Edition because look, this is a birch forest, so there's no the leaves. Yeah, okay, so they haven't included the little leaf litter stuff on here yet. I wanted to see that. And I also wanted to test the creaking. If they would have said, hey, like we're making this change, and then the reason why we're making this change is because if there could be a number of things. They could say, because that's just not how we want it to work. We never intended for it to work that way, for zombie villagers to come out of it, and this is the way it's supposed to work. Then okay, like at least you gave me something. And then we could have had discussion, right? Oh, okay, well, like I understand that's why you got, I understand that that's your intent, but like why are you changing it now? Like players use this feature and this feature, so like you're changing something just because that's the way you want it, but we have features of this that we use and you don't have that same standard for everything, so why not let players have this feature because they use it and it's useful? And then maybe then they say, okay, we understand, but like it's also a bug that when a zombie villager spawns from a spawner, that all of the villagers get a discount, because that's not how the mechanic is supposed to work. It's supposed to be you cure the zombie villager, then all of your villagers get a discount from it. If the process had been that, I would have been like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like, I don't like it. Like, you're still giving us a nerf, but the reason why you're nerfing it makes sense. You're telling me that it's not supposed to work this way. You explain why it's not supposed to work this way, and you're saying because that's a bug and it's giving you this unintended benefit in the game, we're removing it. You know what? Fine. That makes sense. And then the discussion could evolve further from there to say, okay, like that makes sense. So fix that bug. But like, I still think it's like a cool, fun, and good idea for zombie villagers to spawn from a zombie spawner, because it gives players a different way to get zombie villagers and maybe convert them into villagers. And it's a fun alternative. It gives players a different choice, etc., etc. Like we can say, like we can have this discussion about it, and then maybe Mojang's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, so we'll leave it in, but we're gonna fix that one bug, but you can still get zombie villagers from the zombie spawners. Like that would be a healthy like back and forth between game development team and player base. And let's talk about a new nerf that is not announced. It's not in the beta yet, but it's been found in the code for Bedrock Edition. So it's something that is, I think we can say, is more likely than not going to be happening. Okay, I want to make sure I like frame it right. I don't like to give misinformation. It looks as though Mojang is going to be oh, here, you know what I want to do? Hold on. All right, guys, copy. I wanted to copy this. Okay. It looks like Mojang is going to be changing the way that passive mobs spawn in Bedrock Edition to match Java Edition. The way that it works on Java Edition right now is that when you load the world, passive mobs, they're pretty plentiful, like kind of like they are on Bedrock Edition. Like there's a decent amount of mobs all around you. But once you kill them, they almost never, ever, ever respawn. They can respawn, I think, but it is extremely slow and very rare. So when you play in your world and you go through and you kill those cows and you kill those sheep, that's it. You're not going to see anymore. Barely. Unless you go to new chunks to find them. New chunks where you haven't loaded before and you haven't already killed the mobs. It sounds like that's coming to Bedrock Edition. I think this is a horrible change. Because, like, you think about new players. Like, first, I'm going to start thinking about, before I think about, like, you guys and myself, I'm going to think about, like, my kids when they were playing, when they were younger. Or even now, kind of, right? You start a world, you kill the cows, you kill the sheep to get food. And then you eat the food. And then right now you expect, okay, well, more cows and sheep, they're going to appear like this is Minecraft, like stuff spawns. I can find more food. Imagine in this world, right? The way Java Edition works now, you kill the cows, you kill the sheep, you kill the pigs. Now you don't have any food. What are you going to do? How are you going to survive? I mean, yeah, you can, like, you know, if you're smart enough, you know how to do it. You think about it, you plan. You can get by, like, okay, I'm going to save 2 cows and I'm going to breed them. Or 2 sheep and I'm going to breed them. I'm going to plant wheat seeds and, like, grow wheat and make bread. Like, you can get around it. Aren't they more persistent on Java 2 though? Like, they don't despawn? Yeah, so they would, I guess you would think they would make that change as well. But yeah, I don't like it. So, but I can understand the challenge part of it, right? So here's my thought. Again, this is why Mojang needs to communicate these things. They need to come out and say, hey, like, we're thinking of making Bedrock Editions, passive mob spawning, act like Java's, because we don't want it to be so incredibly easy for people to get a whole lot of food by just running around in circles in their world and just filling up on food, and then food not be a challenge. We want food to be a little bit of a challenge. If they came and said that, my response would be, okay, yeah, I kind of can understand that. So how about this? How about, instead of making it so there's a bunch of animals at start and then they basically never spawn again, why don't you just lower the mob cap for them a little bit and / or just lower their spawn rate some, maybe cut it in half. So when you travel around in your world, they're still going to respawn, but they're going to take longer to respawn. So you can't just run in circles in a few chunks and kill a whole bunch of mobs. Like, you're going to have to wait a little bit and then some more will appear. And then eventually, as the player, you're going to see, oh man, it takes a while for, like, cows to pop back up. Like, I do see them, but I want more cows. So the next time my cows pop back up, I'm going to save a couple of them and I'm going to breed them. That would be my response back to them if they would communicate. And this is something, you guys know me, I have railed on Mojang for this one thing more than anything ever. Their communication is the worst that I have seen coming from any major game. I have never seen a company communicate worse than Mojang does. Now, I haven't followed a ton of game companies, so I'm sure there's much worse examples or bad examples out there for big popular games that don't communicate well. But from my personal experience, and I do follow a decent amount of games, Mojang does it the worst. Their communication is god awful. Just talk to your player base and then have a conversation. Tell people, hey, we're going to nerf this. This is why we're going to nerf this. And then players are going to say stuff back about that. And then read that and then, like, have a conversation about it. So, like, because I don't know, man, this is the problem. Their frame of mind is coming from a Java player's perspective, because they all play Java. So I don't fault them for that. I don't care that a lot of them play Java. That's okay to me. That's the version that a lot of them started with and they like better. I do think it'd be good for, like, them to have, like, some type of like company initiative, like, hey, like as part of work, we want you to play an hour a day on a Bedrock Edition world or something. I don't know how it would work, but I think it would be a good idea for them to do something, right? Just so they can kind of understand and they can relate better. But I also don't fault them for like their thought process being, oh, well, like this is, you know, I play Java Edition. Let's say I'm a developer. Oh, well, I play Java Edition, and like this is the way that our mob spawning works. And this is the way that like it was kind of originally intended to be. So, you know, since this is the way it was originally intended to be, like we want there to be parity. Let's make Bedrock and Java match. I don't begrudge that initial line of thought. What I begrudge is the lack of thought beyond that, because your thought process should then be, okay, let's think about this real quick. How does this affect all of the players? Okay, so we're gonna make this change to Bedrock. What does this do? Like, how does this change their game? Okay, well, it makes this harder to do. It makes it harder for them to get food and stuff. This is gonna be a change. It's gonna be like, it's gonna be a negative change to them, to like the people that play Bedrock. Okay, well, you know what? Since we're thinking of we still wanna make this negative change to Bedrock, but let's go ahead and let the players know about it in advance, just to see what they say. And then you make a post. It could be a developer makes the post. It could be a video. It could be a discussion that happens in their Discord even, because that'll still get out to kind of like the broader community, right? And then so they'll spark up this discussion, and then the developers will see, oh, wait a second, man, the Bedrock players really don't like this. And then they'll see, oh, and some of their players are saying, well, how about this instead? Or they're giving us these different ideas. A lot of them are just saying, no, I don't like it. But some of them are saying, oh, well, how about why not do this? Why not do this? Oh, why not do that? And then this discussion has begun. And then them as the developers can then say, okay, they kind of have a point, right? Like, we do want it to be a little bit harder to like get to get food in the early game. So survival is a little bit more part of it. But yeah, like we could probably like meet in the middle in this a little bit. And then we'll just like, how about this? We'll cut the spawn rate down by like 50%. And then let's internal test it. And then let's test it in the beta. Okay, let's see how it goes. And then they can say, okay, it's still a little too high. Let's tone it down. Or okay, it's just right. Let's leave it as is. Like, why isn't that the process is what I don't understand. They have this like, oh, like, know everything. So we're just going to impose our will on you in all circumstances without any consideration for what you think attitude. To like, and this isn't like developer specific attitude, but like developer group / company attitude. Those are two different things, right? Because that requires effort. But if you want to maintain your player base, you have to put forth that effort. I'm going to go on a record here and say Mojang is not anymore. They're not invincible. Minecraft as a game is not invincible anymore. We're starting to see this happen with other things, right? Like Blizzard, another huge company also owned by Microsoft, is getting destroyed right now. Their two major IPs are getting absolutely demolished. Two of their major IPs. Diablo is getting crushed by a smaller company, and Path of Exile. They just are. They're not going to kill Diablo. It's not going to put Blizzard out of business, but it's taking major market share, and it's going to get worse and worse over time. Overwatch, another major thing from Blizzard that had so many people. They got greedy with it. They stopped listening to the player base, etc., etc. Now you have Marvel Rivals out, and I guarantee you, look back 6 months from now, a year from now, it's going to destroy Overwatch. Overwatch isn't going to exist anymore. Mojang's going to be the same thing, dude. You have companies chopping at the bit to get Minecraft player market share that nobody has gotten yet. And whether it be Hightail or whether it be Reforge, or whether it be not just Minecraft 2, or whether it be something that like hasn't been announced yet, but somebody is working on currently right now, somebody is going to put together a formula that players like, and then Minecraft players at large are going to see, oh, hey, like this looks better than Minecraft, and their developers are talking to people and they're listening to feedback and they're doing this and they're doing that. I'm going to go try this new game out. And then they're going to play the new game and they're going to be like, hey, this new game's kind of fun. I like this. And then streamer, well, No Man's Sky kinda, and then streamers and video creators are going to start doing it, and then they're going to start making videos on it, and then people that are like super hooked on Minecraft, but their favorite streamer / creator is now playing this new game. They're going to watch it anyways, because like, oh yeah, Prowl plays this game, I might as well like see what it looks like. And they're going to see Prowl having fun playing the game, and they're going to be like, you know what, yeah, I'm going to try the game now too. I'm telling you, man, hear me now, quote me later. Minecraft is writing their own obituary with this method of doing things. It's not about an individual change. It's about the general way in which they're doing things. This is not a Mojang thing. No, it's not a Microsoft thing. It's not a Microsoft thing. I really want you to understand it's not a Microsoft thing. Microsoft, for the most part, stays very hands off of the games that they own. They do not dabble, and this has been confirmed from so many different places, even places that hate Microsoft. They don't dabble in the studios that they own. Now, it's possible that, I don't know, I'm Jeb or whoever's above Jeb or whoever, right? As a company owned by Microsoft, it's possible that the upper end of Mojang could be seeing, hey, like, we want to keep Microsoft happy, so we are going to do things that are profitable, and that mindset on Mojang's end, because of what they think Microsoft wants to see, could be the problem. But it's not Microsoft direct, like, dabbling. It's not. Microsoft doesn't have anything to do with it, not directly. Why is it changing my skin? God, it's so annoying. They won't fix the most annoying things, but they don't have time to fix bugs that are extremely annoying, but they have time to make parity changes that worsen the game. Can you make it make sense? Oh, hey, you know how we make players have to change their skin back all the time, like every time they log in? Yeah, we're not going to fix that, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it so you don't get zombie villagers from spawners anymore. We have our priorities straight. Tell you, dude. I'm trying really hard to like get into early development and early access to Hightail and to Reforge, so I can put my finger on, for whatever it's worth, on their development direction of those games. Because I think either one of them has the capability to be like a major game that at the very least gives like a this came from Blue Jay, I'm not going to use these, that at least offers a alternative to Minecraft in some capacity. And I will be, if the games are good, I will make content for them, and I will probably make it from this channel.